Okay, friends. The task cannot be achieved on its own. The task needs a doer. And there may be multiple people that you might see in the picture, but there's only one person who commits himself or herself to achieve the task. That person can be called as the central character, hero, protagonist, whatever is there. Here I would like to bring your attention to the fact that when in any of the psychological tests, the hero remains undefined. Like in thematic or perception test, you choose the hero. Psychologist doesn't give any indication about who should be in the lead role. Similarly, in the situation reaction test, friends, for boys, the main doer, the person involved in the situation, is represented with a pronoun he. That he could be anybody according to your imagination. For women candidates, it is she. The social and the professional identity of he or she in SRT is left undefined. It has been experimentally proven that in such a situation, that means when the main or the lead character in any situation is left undefined, then the person taking the test projects his or her own qualities on the central character. This is what we call it as the projective technique. So remember that TAT, thematic or perception test, is also a projective technique. Now, hero represents you, your qualities. Understand? Limitations, whatever. Your personality is reflected through the personality of the hero or the lead character chosen by you. Now, if you have to bring out your personality qualities, it is always advisable that there should not be a gap between you and your hero. Because the limitations and the strengths both have to come out. They have to articulate. Now, if you are selecting somebody who is fairly aged, let's say a person of my age, if you select that person as a hero, now you can run in for any task, let us say you can run 10 kilometers at a stretch. Will you expect the same thing for a person of 60 years old? Perhaps not. Similarly, if you make a person who is sufficiently junior to you in age, most of you here, you're graduates. Yes, Aditya is here. He's going for NDA entry. Now, if you make a person who is sufficiently junior to you, let us say if you are around 21, 22, and if you make a person who is about 17 years old as the hero. Now, understand the moment a person is of 71 years, given the lead role, the limitations of that age also has to be attached to that. You cannot make a person overgrown his age, can you? From your own age of 17 till 21, how much have you learned, by the way? Lot many things. Your perspective is changed. You have become emotionally more stable. Your choices for the life and your life goals are clearer. You have certainly grown a little more strong physically also. So there has been a growth. So a 17-year-old person cannot represent a person who is about 22 years old, can he? In my opinion, not. Similarly, I'm talking to the candidates who are going for NDA entry. They must be around, 16 and a half, 17, 18 years old. Now, if you make a 14 years old person as the hero, that 14 years old person cannot represent your personality, which has sufficiently grown after the age of 14. Okay. So look at the points mentioned in the slide. TAT is a projective technique. Okay. Hero has to be a person of your own age group, gender, and motivation. Now, as far as the gender is concerned, friends, frankly speaking, anybody who is able to accomplish the task can be hero. Technically, I'm talking about. As far as European countries are concerned, from where, I mean, the Western world, from where the concept of TAT has come for them, I mean, they are almost gender neutral, frankly speaking. With my own experience of traveling Europe and a Western country for a significant stretch of time, I can say that the society is quite gender neutral, right? But there are a lot many cultural differences. Okay, we as the Indians, the social group which is sending its children to join the armed forces, they are having definitely the different rules of upbringing, role expectations, right? The treatment given to the children. Okay, frankly speaking, like it or not, it might not be in your own family, but the majority psychologists will consider the trend and not an individual exception, right? So gender has to be there. For example, let us say in our society, even the middle class society, which is having almost every gadgets of and conveniences of comfort, let's say a car, which is a part of any middle class family. Now, if a girl at 20 doesn't know how to drive a car, it is not taken to be, a surprise. It is taken to be a norm. But if at the age of 20 years, if she is not in a position to handle the kitchen and she is not in a position to, make at least a few simple dishes for her survival, then people they frown upon. And when a boy of 20 or 21 years old, he starts showing interest in making the dishes, etc., people discourage him. There are certain, manly jobs, there are certain womanly jobs. In our society, I'm talking about. Another example, friends, that, well, it's not example, it is a fact. In TAT itself, the very fact that the boys and girls, they have got different TAT pictures, that itself proves my point that the person who is going to be in the lead role, through whom your personality is going to be articulated, has to be a person of your own gender. I hope that you have got my point. All right. Now, the next thing is, hello. Hello. Did I hear something?
Excuse me, sir.
You wanted to ask
Yes, sir.
something? Just raise your hand. Let me complete the point. And after that, you'll be given a, okay, I got the point. Let me complete. Now, if one such a person is not available in the projected situation, please justify the absence of the hero. Let me tell you, any fiction, any movie, any novel cannot be without a central character. But the central character need not necessarily be available in every frame. That is what was my point. So if a person of your own age group and gender is not available, then in your scheme of a story, you have to justify the absence of a hero from that projected picture. Simple. हाँ, अब बताइए. Deepika, what was your question? Deepika, can you hear me? I think she is frozen.
Sir, same thing, sir. But if there is, yes, sir.
So I'm requesting,
Yes,
please,
sir.
I've told you long back as a rule that, well, your most of your doubts or queries will automatically be settled. Okay. If only you patiently hear my points. Okay. Never be obliged to pick up the hero only from the same characters. There are, okay, please allow me just a minute. to go back. Okay. Look at this picture. It is one of the very commonly used pictures in the TAT for men, boys, I mean to say. Now, you can very well make out, in case you look at the picture. Okay. What can you make out? Yes, who is going to tell? Okay, Nanda, what do you see in the picture? Anyway, let's not have unduly discussion. You find there is a person in uniform whose photograph is garlanded photograph is there on the wall, and you understand what does it mean. There's a small child who is playing with a toy tank. An old-fashioned TV is kept there, and the lady, obviously not very happy in the mood, is visible there. Now, in case you have to pick up a hero, out of the three characters, one of them is, of course, martyred or whatever, dead, whatever you may say. The lady is there and the child is there. With whom you are going to identify? Who can represent you better? Tell me. Please unmute and say.
So the martyred person.
In that case, what is going on and what the outcome will be? Your story will go absolutely in the past. No.
The child, sir.
The child. In that, what
Men,
are your
sir.
capabilities which are going to, in that case, it will become a story. It will almost a biopic kind of a thing. It will be a story. It is not a story of a situation then. It will become
Sir, no one, sir.
No one. Obviously, no one. So, does it mean that there will not be a hero of this situation? Let us say the hero is they are waiting for somebody to come, and there is a particular task. The hero has come to help this family. He's coming to help the family. No, not possible. Hero is yet to come. Hero has got some task. Let us say the hero is a young captain of the army, and one of his jawans has been martyred. Now, the family is to be rehabilitated. Hero is, along with certain documents, is coming to visit, that family. Hero is not visible here. A person of your own age and gender is not visible here. But he is about to come. Okay. Yes, Niti, what's your question?
So currently you're talking about TAT, but if such a picture comes in PPDT, where would we mark the hero?
You are not, first of all, this is a digression. In PP and DT, again, a wrong instruction you have carried, in your mind. There is nothing like a hero is marked. In PP and DT, it is told that you have to identify the age, gender, and mood of all the human characters. And the one that caught your attention first is to be encircled. No. Who says that the hero is to be, marked?
Okay, got it.
You are mixing up. I'm sorry. So, and another thing I have requested multiple times, that please keep your questions to the context. Friends, the next point is that the task is there, and if the hero is there, then hero achieves the task by all the resources and strategy at his command. So that's what you see on the slide here. The task is achieved by means, methods, and actions. Means, resources, methods, strategy, and actions. That means whatever is appropriate, logical to the situation. You saw a picture in which a goon was threatening somebody. So you have to show the action by which you have controlled the goon. You cannot sudden action, logical and appropriate. You cannot assume a Superman to come for your help. Okay. So let's proceed. Yes, as far as the resources are concerned, friends, Remember, there are certain resources that are visible. They are given in the situation itself. There are certain situations that are part of the larger environment. It must be beyond the scope of the projected picture. Let's say if it is a village scene, then a tractor may be visible, may not be visible, but the tractor is the part of that larger environment. Okay. Then sometimes you have to use your imagination, using your the problem solving skill, etc. Okay. So here I would like to say how to customize the resources, situational resources that you have to observe, visible. Okay. Then environmental, they may be invisible, but they're the part of the environment logically. There are certain personal resources like money, skills, your contacts sometimes, gadgets, okay, which are at your command. So here you have to observe, imagine, improvise, and manage. I would say observe, imagine, improvise, and manage. The last point, management of the resources, is for the long-term tasks. Because long-term tasks, they are not, frankly speaking, they go much beyond the scope of the projected picture in time and space. So you've got enough of time to manage that. I hope you got the point. So friends, we have seen the three ingredients of the story, that is the purpose, the task, aim, that is to be achieved in the story. Who is going to achieve? That means P2, or the person or the hero or the central character. And 3, that is the process, that means the means, methods, actions, strategy, etc., etc. Having customized these 3 ingredients, now the next task is there, how to present these things in a form of a story. So in the neutral and suggesting a stress type of pictures, the candidate creates the task, whereas in the direct stress type of pictures, the task is given in the situation itself, projected picture itself. So the first type of pictures in which you are creating the mission, that needs a special attention, and especially with respect to when the task or the mission is to begin. Right. So now in these types of pictures, how to structure the stories? The first thing is that please begin with the introduction of the lead character in a sentence or two, in which you have to write the name, some suggestion of approximate age and social or professional identity of the person. Mostly. Ram, Sham, Mohan, Sita, Geeta, whosoever is going to be the lead character, give the name. Okay. And as far as names are concerned, do not repeat. I have come to know that there are some people, some people who don't seem to be having any concern or any connection with the armed forces, but they are doing it for the sake of it. The mentorship is for the sake of it. So one picture has to be Ram, another picture has to be Rahim, another picture has to be, some Vincent or Thomas, another, they are trying to unnecessarily make your mind conscious of the secular credentials. Do not bring anything, consciously or pretentiously, friends. मैं तो कहता हूं कि आप इसी कोर्स में से जितने लोग हैं, आप सबके नाम याद कर लीजिए और 3-3 स्टोरीज में उसको दे दीजिए, 3-3, 4-4 स्टोरी, 2-2 दिन, जस्ट रिपीट करो. या रिमेंबर द नेम्स ऑफ योर लास्ट, द क्लास दैट यू स्टडीड टुगेदर. उसमें से अगर राम, श्याम, संता सिंह, बंता सिंह, विंसेंट, थॉमस, अगर दीज पीपल, रहीम, they are appearing naturally, so be it. But do not pretentiously communicate, do not consciously communicate to the psychologist that, well, I'm a secular person. Anything which is done with that patch of logic, okay, so understand, How must you begin? You begin with the introduction of the hero or the lead character. In that, I repeat, the name and some way the approximate age of that person is to be reflected. Let's say young captain. People, they know within what age group the person is there. Or he is the final year engineering student. People, they know that the person who is studying engineering of final year, he cannot be a 40 years old person. Okay. He has to be around 20 or so. So after this, friends, introduce the task, mission, aim, whatever is to be achieved. And here, very important thing is highlight the value of the task. Morning, I just finished one dossier assessment, and there I have told in these many words that you are taking up a task just for the sake of taking up the task. Let's say somebody is organizing a book fair in the college. All right. My question is, why book fair? What is the benefit it will accrue to the people, and what loss it might incur if it is not organized? Now, let us understand this with some hypothetical example. Let's say XYZ person, whatever the name is appearing to your mind. Okay, that is Santosh. Santosh was a young BDO. On his posting to XYZ village or taluka, he found that the local school was only up to secondary level, as a result of which a lot of girl children, they drop their education because for continuity of their higher secondary and further, they have to travel a distance of, let's say, 20 kilometers. So Santosh has decided to upgrade the village school from secondary to higher secondary. Getting the point? So there was a task, long-term task, of course, but definitely a challenging task, important task. So the importance of the task has led the person to undertake it. Then whatever things he has done. Okay. Now, friends, please remember one thing. When I'm saying that the hero and the task, this does not mean that it is the stories must be according to this fixed template. Sometimes you may come with a task followed by hero. Let's say in one particular village, the school was only up to secondary level, as a result of which the children, they had to travel 20 kilometers for continuation of their studies, which forced many of the girl children to drop their education. So Santosh, a young BDO, noticed this situation and took a resolve to upgrade the village school from secondary to higher secondary. So sometimes hero followed by task, sometimes it is just to show that your mind is flexible enough. Imagination has got flexibility. Imagination is not very strict and stringent, and it is not linear. I hope you're getting the point. So hero, the task, and immediately the hero starts taking up the steps towards the task achievement. This is what the first few steps towards the task achievement. And let me tell you, this gives the answer to psychologist's first instruction. The stories must cover what led to the situation. So here, friends, you will get, or you will give the answer to the psychologist in the stories that an important task, the commitment of the hero towards an important task has led to the situation. If you understood this pattern of the stories or the situations in which you are creating the task, that means the neutral or is suggesting a stress type of pictures. Please understand that in such stories, the past will be certainly bulkier in comparison to the present and future. Past got to be bulkier. Because in the past, you have to really justify the emergence of the task. There has to be a hero, and immediately the hero starts his strategy towards the, achievement of the task. So here, hero, task, and a few steps that will be the part of the past, and those few steps, they are visible in the present situation. What is the present situation then? The present situation shows that some action is on as per hero's strategy to achieve that task. So there is a continuity of the past, past and the present, and this will go in the future till the time the task is achieved. As opposed to the pictures that are neutral or suggesting a stress. There are a few pictures in which the task lies directly in the projected picture itself. Let us say there's a scene of an accident, there is a fire, there is a goon threatening others on knife point or, on some weapon point, must I say. Let us say there's a picture in which a boat is capsizing. So there are multiple pictures, and if you critically see this picture, you will find that the task is lying directly in the picture projected. Mostly, I would say it is the rescue, or you have to, overpower some threat in the form of a human or maybe some force like a fire. But such pictures will be, majority of the pictures in any TAT sets, they are either neutral or they are suggesting stress. Such pictures are minimum, let's say 2, at the most 3. There's nothing like a rule, do not quote me, but okay, this is like this only. So in these types of pictures, how to go about writing the stories, structuring the stories, begin with the introduction of the hero like you did in the other situations. Okay. Now, hero comes to the situation. Hero enters the situation and finds the task, commits himself or herself to achieve the task. Now, my question is, or as the question could be very naturally coming to your mind as well, why then the hero has come? If there is nothing like a deliberate planning of the hero, why the hero, how the hero is available there on the scene? So friends, the answer to this is hero comes there as a routine. Let us say coming or passing through that situation is that particular, I would say that the scene or the place. Let's say if it is a marketplace and the scene of accident is there. So hero, okay, hero has gone to the market maybe for some insignificant in the sense that, let's say, the hero has gone to purchase a small grocery there. Or hero is returning from his office, or he is going for tuitions. Okay, passing through the market is a routine thing for that person. Right. Hero is finding the task, manages the task, carries on. Here I would like to warn you, please do not load the hero with something significant. Let's say hero is going to board a train or a flight, or he's going for some examination, or he's going for some interview. In that case, it will become a distraction for the hero. And again, it is your choice. The sum and substance of the matter is, friends, do not preload your hero with a significant mission. Otherwise, there will be a logical incompatibility. Hero's presence on the scene is merely accidental or just a routine. Try to understand. Okay. Hero manages the task and carries on. Now let's see the same thing, the same scheme of structuring the stories through this. So here, this rectangle represents the screen. Some picture has been projected. Picture was projected rather. This is the scene part of it. Hero, this contains the task. Let's say there is a threat, let's say there is an accident, let's say there is a fire, etc., etc. So the scene projected on the screen contains the task for the hero. Hero is coming to the spot as a routine or unintentionally or just accidentally or routinely, should we say. Okay. Hero manages the task, carries on. So this is the way, friends, we have to structure these stories. Now here I'd like to give you an opportunity. Did you understand how to structure the stories when the candidate creates the task and when the, okay, the, let's say the psychologist gives you a task? Any questions, you are most welcome to ask the questions so far, because our next discussion will be on something which is very, very important, cautions against the pitfalls or the importance of these faculties. As I've told you that the psychologist, okay. Any questions from your side? Deepika, you had
Yes,
a
sir.
question, please.
Sir, there are a lot actually.
Could you be a little louder, please? थोड़ा
Sir,
तेजी से
coming
बोल.
to the hero part, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, in the hero part, if we are not able to see a hero of our age and gender, so one thing is we can define his absence. Second thing, we can bring hero from outside.
Justify the. What is the outside? Yeah, hero is a part of the story. He is not visible for a reason. So if your story
Yes.
is going on, it will justify the absence of the hero in that particular frame. But every story has to be having a central character.
Sir, my question
Outside,
is,
inside,
if
no, I don't understand this term. Hero has to be from outside. What is the meaning of this phrase outside?
okay, sir, so my question is, if we can connect to a person present in the picture itself, but not of our gender, so we can choose him as a hero?
I have told you that the very fact that the boys and girls, they have got different TAT story, TAT sets. Didn't I tell you? See, as an exception, all right, accepted. As an exception, I'm telling you, you can do that. Frankly speaking, I was in Germany for a while and I had to travel from one place to the other. Most of the times, I found that the loco pilots, that means the train drivers, they are women. Now, do you find the same thing as a routine over here? Yes, in Mumbai, you might find, what is that, Mumbai metro rail corporations. There are a few women also, they are the loco pilots, but this is only as an exception, not as a routine. Try to understand what is the meaning of the hero and what is the purpose of having men and women having different TAT sets. It is this that the effect of those cultural biases and your conflict management must come out in these situations. There's a purpose. Whatever is your question, I have admitted right in the beginning, technically any person who is able to achieve the task can be the central character, irrespective of gender. But see, the psychologist wants to know that how you have come out battling the prejudices and the role, the straight jacketing of the rules given by the society. Okay, I hope you got my point. I have given you the examples also that if a girl is not driving the car at the age of 22, this is absolutely in order. But if she's not in a position to do some kitchen work, people, they take it as an exception. And okay, there was, an advertisement on Vivid Bharati. Let me tell you, I don't know. I've left Delhi long back. It was 2019, and every day when I used to go, to my office on FM, after some time, FM Gold पे तो पक्का आता था एक advertisement wherein there are two elderly people, they're talking कि लड़का कहाँ है और बहू कहाँ है. तो बहू ऑफिस में है, the answer used to be, and लड़का क्या रहा है, वो किचन में काम कर रहा है. तो this person, the person who is asked about बेटा and बहू, ridicules, अरे शर्मा जी आपके फैमिली में ये सब उल्टा ही हो रहा है, बहू बाहर काम कर रही है and बेटा. तो then the person says that भी क्या फर्क है, वगैरह वगैरह. Till 2029, I heard myself this advertisement on Vivid Bharati. Society is yet to come to terms that boys and girls, they are to be given the same treatment. The task is expected. So, to cut the long story short, I'm saying that as an exception, yes, it is accepted, but as a trend, it should not be. Clear? Okay, next question. I hope all of you got this point, huh? Okay.
Sir, next is about the pictures showing stressful situations, sir. So, sir, sometimes I find it quite overlapping with SRT, sir. A situation is given, and we have to respond according to that situation, sir.
No, but SRT follows the TAT, na? So how you find that overlap?
Like, sir,
Yes.
we are already given a situation.
No,
And
but
we have
what
to
is
do-
what's your question, right? ठीक है, there may be this. See, SRT is also drawn from day-to-day life, and this also projects the situations from day-to-day life itself. There's nothing like what happens on Jupiter or Moon. A situation of day-to-day life only is, projected to you. There could be an overlap or there could be the similarity, but what exactly is the question?
doubt sorted, sir. Sir, my next is
देखो,
about
देखो,
the
देखो, बच्चा, just a minute, try to understand. In SRT, you have to show merely your reaction. I'll come to SRT and in fact, there is one video of mine on this very channel, I mean, the YouTube channel. The SRT is not a situation management test. It is a situation reaction test. Many people, they think that in SRT, you have to manage the situation and take it to the final point. Or as per one of my mentees, sir, we have to, what is that? He used a very fantastic phrase, sir, we have to complete the loop. Maine kaha, Shriman ji, whosoever has told you that to complete the loop, I don't subscribe to this. It's a reaction, an action-oriented reaction towards the solution of the situation or towards the neutralizing situation or achievement of the task. Action-oriented, that's all. It is your reaction. You must understand the difference between reaction and management. TAT is the management of the situation. I mean, self-created situation. You create a situation, you manage the situation. But SRT is not. Okay? Any other question, Deepika? Unmute.
sir regarding the task that we choose.
Yes.
Sir, I'm audible.
Yeah, very much. Go ahead.
Sir, the task we choose in the neutral situation, sir, long term. Sir, there are some tasks in the social sphere that we cannot achieve alone. So we
Yeah,
can choose such tasks as well, like the task that we achieved in our lifetime, sir. Such task.
definitely. But see, the way you have achieved the task using the resources, using the actions and the strategy, it is fine. Okay. And it has to be realistic, of course. Realistic
No,
resources.
sir, like tasks that cannot be achieved in one person's lifetime, sir. Like quite long tasks. Can we choose that task?
Why not? Why not? See, there is nothing which is an embargo. There is nothing that stops you. As long as it gives the hope that, well, the next generation will take over and will complete it. Sometimes if you are fighting against the social justices, biases, or for that matter, resources, which are, there are families. There are certain groups of the people of the society. For ages together, they are, let us say, deprived. They are battling the prejudices, and it will not change overnight. In that case, instead of the situation oriented, in that case, it becomes the task itself that becomes an end by itself, which could be achieved maybe after generation, but one generation has to do its bit. Pave the ground, make the background. After, it's like a relay race for that matter. Somebody has to run a distance, hand over the baton to the next runner. Permitted, theoretically permitted. Let me see when the dosage assessment will come. Then, yes, theoretically it's permitted.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Friends, this way you will be handling 11 pictures. You'll be writing 11 stories. But for the 12th picture, when the psychologist would say that you have to imagine a situation then and there. For 30 seconds, you will find only a light is there. There will not be anything on the screen. There will not be any picture. Psychologist will be instructing you to imagine any situation of your choice for 30 seconds and write a story on whatever you have imagined. So you must understand the purpose of it. Why I'm saying the purpose of it? Because I know there are hundreds and thousands of people who follow the belief to prepare the story for the blank situation in advance. Why they do it? They think that it is the easiest one, okay, to go well prepared, well rehearsed story. So you understand it is not meant for your evaluation, but it is the preparation for the next stage of the psychological test. It's a trash management. Now, this word trash management is what? We want you to take the next test with a little free mind, better mind, not occupied with the residuals of certain things which appeared in your mind as a trash. Friends, I'll give you an example. If you have traveled, especially I'm talking about air travel, especially the Indigo Airlines, because I myself have traveled and experienced that. So I'd like you to recall in case you have traveled anytime by Indigo. Let's say you are traveling from Delhi to Bangalore. It is about 2.5 hours of flight. A little before the flight comes on the gliding mode, let's say about half an hour before landing, you would hear an announcement from the crew. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, whatever is their professional jumlas. Then they will say that we are preparing the cabin for either the return or the next leg of flight. So whatever trash is generated is to be handed over to the crew. They will be coming, that cabin crew will come with a garbage bin and you have to just discard it. It is quite possible that you have ordered a cup of coffee or Maggie or some food, or you have unwrapped something from your own biscuit or chocolate packets, but the trash is generated. If that trash is left in the cabin, perhaps the cabin is not ready to receive the new set of passengers. All right. The same thing happens here. You are there, for the last how many minutes? You understand? Almost 50, 52 minutes. Kaise? 44 minutes of writing 11 stories, 11 into 4, 44. 5.5 minutes of exposure duration, 30 seconds each. Add to it, it is 59.5, almost 50 minutes. Your mind was constantly occupied. It is quite possible that some of the situations have triggered or were associated. They got associated with some experiences of life of you itself. Let's say an accident scene or anything for that matter. So what will happen? The memories will get aroused, and just not the memories alone, but the emotions also associated with the memories, okay, that get. Now, sometimes you must have heard people say that whenever I remember this, I get goosebumps. So there's no memory that comes without the associated emotions. Now, what happens once you write a story, then the story serves as a vent. All these memories and those emotions, they are let out. Right? But it is quite possible that intensity of such memories and emotions are such that still they remain in your mind. So it has to be flushed out because they will start interfering with the responses of WAT. Let's say if you found an accident scene and there is a word like accident or injury or safety for that, road safety, then your emotions which got triggered, the memories which have got, aroused because of the exposure of the picture, that will start, interfering with your natural responses. So it's better we flush them out. Look at the next slide. It is the very same process. Look at this. Agitation of the unconscious mind. Okay, this is a technical term. 11 stories in the TAT, they energize the unconscious mind. First thing is the purpose, motivation. Okay, energizes your unconscious mind. Whenever you have got a purpose, so if hero is having a purpose, that purpose means your mind got a purpose, and then your mind gets this flow of psychological energy. And what happens? It activates the memories and associated emotions, just I've told you. It may interfere or color your responses in future. Okay. That is WAT in particular. So these things, these memories and the extra energy, they must be flushed out. Okay. Now there are 3 prescriptions for a blank story. Okay. Imagine a situation then and there. This is the most healthy situation. And the psychologist also includes this point in his instructions. Okay. There are some people who say that, sir, my mind gets blank. So for them, I've got another 2 prescriptions. Okay. Zeigarnik effect and recency effect. I'll explain them a little later. But I'm only saying never go with a prepared story. This is the most unhygienic, I'm sorry, I say that to go with a prepared story is the most unhygienic prescription. Take it as a warning. And if you say, well, sir, I will go. Let us see what will happen. Now, what will happen? Just a minute. I think this is a repetition of the slide. This is going to happen. This is the graph of equality with the blank story. This graph was used in one of my videos also, the purpose of the blank story, but I'm telling it to you. See, your natural responses in psychology, they operate between a minimum and a maximum. This minimum and maximum is very, very unique to you. So here you see from story number 1 to story number 11, this is operating between 2 points. Look at the graph. But if you have gone with the rehearsed story, pre-prepared story, this story stands out in terms of quality vis-a-vis others because it's already, the rehearsed one. Suddenly there's a spurt, there is a elevation, there's an elevation in the quality. Okay. So friends, remember that you are certainly going to be caught, and if the psychologist finds you that you are defying the instructions, you have come with a pre-prepared story and you have not imagined the situation then and there, who on earth will be kind to you from the psychological community I'm talking about? Any person who is going with a pre-prepared story is going to be caught. And then the first conclusion of the psychologist will be, why should I take his responses on, the natural response? Okay. Well, young friends, so with this, we have come to the conclusion of TAT. And let me explain my approach to TAT once again. I have got a very strong belief that TAT, though strongest of the test in the psychological test battery, is badly misunderstood. Thanks to those shortcuts and such kind of thoughts that have been floated by the people. Who are those people? I'm not going to say it again. It might hurt some people. But I feel that 50% of the preparations lies in getting your mind free of such thoughts. Why these thoughts are not important and why these thoughts are remaining with these thoughts that harms your prospects, that has been explained to you at every single stage. Those people who give you, for example, the prescription that you must go with the prepared story, I have explained why you should not go with the prepared story. So at every stage, I've cautioned you against the misnomers and misperceptions. Now, you have been given how to write the stories, which type of stories they reflect your personality better. Now here, I would say, because of the limitations of the time, I cannot say that this learning is going to be complete. Actual preparation, the first stage of preparation is the preparation of your skill, knowledge, merit, which unfortunately is beyond the scope of this class, though our package is for 14 hours, but it cannot be. Your merit, you have to take a pledge of increasing your merit, sharpening your merit, honing your merit. Like in a cookery course, the person can tell you the skills, but the raw material on which you are going to apply has to be your own. So this exactly, your imagination, your knowledge will be, if integrated with these instructions, will help you produce your responses in a way that is projecting, that is going to project your personality in the most desirable way. But before I really call it a day, I would like you to, in case one of you or a few of you or all of you would like to share the learning, whatever you have learned from this, session of 6 hours. In
So,
case you like, yes, Aditya, you want to say something?
yes, sir. So
Hmm.
today's session cleared the doubts and misconceptions I had about TAT, and it
Mhm.
provided a lot of extra knowledge into the TAT test, their logic and their purpose.
Okay, thank you very much. In case something has been added to it, added to your perspective or corrected, or as you told that a lot of misnomers have been cleared, I feel I'm amply rewarded. Yes, anybody else? Yes, Rakhya Ranjan Nanda.
Yes, sir. Sir, there are generally three things that I learned in this session that we have to create a story that is mission centric and not very centric to the person you are depicting as a main character. Second, when you create a story, it should not start immediately or it should not end immediately. There is a continuation in it. It should not be like you came coincidentally to a thing and then it happened eventually and then you quit. It doesn't like make it like that. And third thing I learned was the blank uh, story that we create. Generally, we all had that notion that we have to pre-prepare so that we can get a good story in that. But as we learned in this session, that it is a trash management system. You have to empty your thoughts and like get in line so that you can prepare for the next set of tests. And also the
Well,
self-awareness.
you have told about the present session, na? But I'm talking about TAT as a whole, the 6 hours of session,
Mm.
the package that we started from the principles of psychological testing to how to write the TAT stories. I'm talking about this. In case anybody can sum up about those 6 hours, that will be fine. Anybody? Or would you like to share what difference it caused from your previously when you entered the class, in the classroom, entry level behavior, entry-level thoughts to the quantum of modification, not only in this session, but including the previous 2 sessions as well. No one?
So I would like to say a few things. So
Okay.
before the sessions happened, we all have heard, like most SSB aspirants have heard that, okay, the hero has to be you. But we didn't know the reason. We just kept following through. But like when you made us understand that it's a projective element that they're looking for, that you have to, that if we were in that place, what would we do? That is why we are being given specific kind of pictures, and it's different for girls and boys. That's when we understood why they were saying that. So I think a lot of misconceptions are cleared, but also there is a valid reason to why things were being told.
Okay, that's very fine. It's very heartening to note that you got a reason and you found that these were misconceptions. Any other thing? Good. Good. Thank you. I'm really happy and satisfied. Good one. Anybody else would like to share the thoughts?
Sir,
Deepika wanted to say something. She unmuted and then she went on a mute mode again.
Yes, sir.
Do you want
Sir,
to
the
share something?
sessions, sir, these sessions build our foundation about the psych test overall and the TAT also. So it's a kind of rebuilding of our foundation and basics.
Oh, I think you went further on the conceptual level. Good. Very nice. Yes, Nanda, you wanted to add something, do you?
yes, sir. Technically, when we talk about that, everyone was all about you should follow a set of rules that they are pre-prepared stories, etc. We never really understood why, but we followed through. Now we understand why we need to make our own stories and not follow the old conceptions.
Nice. Okay, that's fine. Yes, Satyam, do you have something to say, or you'll conclude formally about TAT so that we could continue further with WAT? Boli.
No, sir. All the points were covered by the others.
Chalo, friends. That's so very nice. And